We're focusing today on ways to improve the use of forage in a cattle operation. So how does someone evaluate their pastures to know which products to buy? Here's Scott Flynn in the field with some helpful advice.
From year to year, we're usually not shocked to see certain weeds pop up again and again. But I think every spring, most producers, cattle producers, can walk out into their pastures and they get this warm, fuzzy feeling when they look out across the field and they see everything that's green. But when you start digging in between grass plants and looking down at what's coming up, you'll see that there are quite a few weeds popping up in your pasture during that time, even though everything looks nice and green. Now the problem is, a field like this that has some patches of annual weeds that have kind of taken over, these patches are eventually going to die out here in a few weeks when we get into the later parts of spring, early parts of summer. And that's great. But the problem is they're going to be replaced with another broadleaf weed more than likely, or even a weedy grass. And so there's several options here. One, you can do absolutely nothing. And in that case, we let nature take its course. And what we find ourselves doing is coming back with a mower a few weeks later and trying to get control of weeds or suppress weeds that way. The other option is to go the cheap route with a herbicide, something like a 2,4-D. And you go in and spray that into a field and we burn down the weeds. But the thing is, we just open up that soil to allow other broadleaf weeds to come into our pasture. And then the third option is to come in with a good soil residual herbicide like Grazon Next HL that's actually going to hold those weeds back for a period of time, several weeks, and it's going to give us the time we need to backfill those bare spots with grasses. Add a little soil fertility on it, and we just make things happen that much faster. So at the end of the day, the best bang for our buck in a pasture early spring is to get on those weeds as soon as possible, get them under control, and start shifting that competitive advantage back to our forage grass species.